So many things have popped into my head. So many thoughts have occurred about how I would structure this. Not how I would structure it, but just so many thoughts have occurred about what I would say. Now I struggle to find what to say. But when I go to bed at night and I'm basically meditating, trying to let go of any specific thought, trying to let go of any specific purpose, I find myself in a state of mind where information just comes to me, possibility just is available to me. And in that state of mind is when, I guess you could say, I feel the most creative. See, I feel like I have to explain so much because I'm explaining to someone. I've had many times where I would just record my voice rather than the video as well, and it felt less personal, so I wouldn't feel obligated to say certain things. I wouldn't feel obligated to make sense, for one. One of the things I had to struggle with that I found was a challenge for me at the very beginning of even making audio recordings was that I had to let go of the idea of there being a listener. So, because the more I imagined a listener in my head, the more it guided my thoughts into a certain way. Whereas, if I didn't imagine a listener, then I could put myself in that state of being where thoughts would just flow to me. Ideas, concepts would just appear in my mind. And I would be able to unpack them with my words and just express them however I needed to express them at the time. A habit of mine that I've practiced over the years and has become more habitual as of lately, that has become more habitual because of my practice of it, is telling the truth and just expressing myself in a truthful way. So I could say what I think is the truth about reality, about the universe, about life. The trick I have found about talking about the truth is that the more I feel the truth and the more I know it, the less words come to me. It's as if understanding the truth with words can guide me there, and it gets me to a state of understanding where I just know what is true. And then in knowing it, the words fall away, and then it's just I understand it through concepts, and a whole idea would just occur to me, would just be in my consciousness, and I would understand it, and then that would bring about a state of joy or contentment where I no longer needed to speak, where I no longer needed to think about what it was I was trying to understand, because the understanding was just there, it was just present. I used to think that I had to memorize everything in order to understand it, as if I could forget it in a moment, then I could forget it always. I could forget it forever. But I came to realize that that wasn't the case. I could forget everything I know in a moment now. I could be in a state completely of ignorance where I have no idea. I've been in states of being when I've meditated and stuff where I even forgot where I was. I would be lying on my bed with my eyes closed and I would meditate for a time, and then I would stop thinking about my surroundings. I would stop thinking about the day or my thoughts or my emotions, and I would just bring myself to a state of peace where nothing needed to be said, nothing needed to be understood. It was just a state of being, like where I would just be. And that state of being would be comfortable to me, would be honestly the most joyful. Actually, I won't use joyful, because joyful to me kind of comes with an elation, like a raising of energy. Whereas in this state of being, I would be very calm and collected and just one with everything. And when I would get in that state of being, there had been times where I was lying there with my eyes closed, and then, whereas you kind of go in and out of it, I would be in it and then I would pop out of it and realize that I'm still on my bed, I'm still in this world, but I would forget, or I would not know in that moment where I was. I can remember being on my bed at my old apartment, and this happened to me, and I had my eyes closed, and I was just thinking about nothing, and then all of a sudden I realized, I don't know where I am. I know I'm on a bed in a house, but I wasn't sure if I was on it. I wasn't sure if I was in my own apartment. I wasn't sure if I was at my mother's house. I wasn't sure. I even considered the idea that I may even be in a different town, and I wasn't sure because I hadn't thought about my day or my experiences or my emotions of recent times in a couple minutes or so. So I was able to bring myself to a different state of consciousness where I wasn't thinking about anything in particular. Because we kind of always hold on to where we are. You know, we can forget that when we're kids, but we are conditioned into always holding on to that fact, like where you are, be aware of what you are, where you are, what you're doing, and the influence you may have and the consequences that may occur. We get trained to hold on to those bits of information. And throughout my life, I always held on to that kind of thing. But then as I grew older and came to this state of being where I felt I never needed to hold on to everything anymore, I trained myself to let go of these things. So now I'll put myself in that state on purpose where I don't know anything, where I don't have any specific bit of information. I'm fully capable of understanding anything in that moment, but I don't hold on to facts. I don't hold on to, yes, I'm in my house right now. Yes, I'm in my room. Yes, it's 2018. Those things just fall away, and those are just facts and things that I remember every single day that help me get through everyday life. But in meditation, they're not needed, so I practiced letting them go so I can get to a state of being where nothing is there, no thought, no concept, no idea is present. It's just my awareness of being aware. I'm just aware of the fact that I'm alive and I'm experiencing something. I'm aware of the fact that I'm in this reality. Like, I might even forget about my own body. I understand on a fundamental level that I'm in a body, but my body is so well tuned now and has very little pain, very little resistance. So when I meditate, I can let go of even the feeling of my body, and I no longer feel like I'm just in a body. I feel like I'm connected to the air around me. I feel like I'm connected to the bed under me. I feel like I'm connected to everything that is. And in feeling like I'm a part of everything, I don't feel anything in particular. It's just like one all-encompassing feeling of knowing that I am a functioning part of the universe. This state of being, it takes practice. It takes constant practice. This is one way that I practice. This is one way that I get myself there, by speaking the truth. I speak about truth and love and what reality is and all that stuff all the time with the people in my life. It's basically the only conversation I have, because I could no longer go on having conversations that I found to be trivial, especially if they were based on lies of some kind. I found I had to be truthful all the time, because my inner critic, my inner judge, would tear me apart if I told a lie. I would shame myself. If I said that something that was untruthful, is that even a word? If I said something that was untrue, the second it was over, the second I got a moment to think to myself, my mind would criticize me, judge me, and shame me for saying something that I never actually truly believed, something that I knew in my heart wasn't true. But as I grew, The critic was still there. The judge was still there. The observer was still there. But the shame went away because I started to understand why I had been conditioned to be that way. I realized from a very young age that you can't always tell the truth exactly how you see it. I tried doing that as a kid, but not for long, because I would be punished in some way. I would be sanctioned, and I would feel it. I would feel that someone disapproved of me. I would feel that I made someone upset, and obviously I never liked that feeling. So I learned to lie. I feel like we all do. I feel like the society we've grown up in encourages, to some degree, dishonesty. But I think that's changing. I think it's changing all the time. I think it's evolving quickly. Everything is getting better.